Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Weekend's done. Time to go back to work, and I've got some fun stuff for you, like an interview with Beverly Gray. She is the author of a new book called Seduced by Mrs. Robinson. Do you remember the movie The Graduate?
I do.
Did you like the movie?
No.
It was kind of a groundbreaking movie because there were things that had never been put in movies up until that point. That, you know,
Right.
That movie was, again. So this book is kind of talking about how that movie changed a whole generation. And Mrs. Robinson, this book, Seduced by Mrs. Robinson, is a new book that is doing quite well. So it'll be interesting to chat with her. Beverly Gray, coming up later in the program. Got a quote for the day, too. It says, this is from Goethe. You know who Goethe is?
No.
I was hoping you'd know, because I don't. And only one name. So, you know, must be pretty famous.
Okay.
Now I'm going to figure out who Goethe is. G-O-T-H-E, Goethe. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
This Goethe guy is pretty smart. Goethe. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free discreet shipping.
Call 800-296-1289 or learn more at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, November the 13th. Can you believe we're halfway through the month of November?
No,
dang near?
I
How did that
cannot.
happen? It is World Kindness Day today, so be kind, Heidi. Mm-hmm. Be nice to me.
Always.
No picking on me today.
Well,
I mean, none.
just a little.
Okay, a little bit. It's also World Orphans Day today. So World Orphans Day, World Kindness Day. It's happening all today on this Monday, the 13th day of November.
John and Heidi.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the Tax Doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guarantee. You may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe.
See if you qualify. 800-649-0142. Learn more at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs, but first, listen to this, an interesting story. A weird iPhone case that kind of makes sense. Stitched is the world's first pet hair removing iPhone case. So if you notice you have lint or pet hair on your shirt or your pants,
You know what? That is a
as
pretty
you're
good
heading into the
idea.
office, all you need to do is pull out your phone and use the case as a lint brush. It's on Indiegogo. Early bird price of $25.
Huh.
I don't know that I would need that, but
No, we don't need that, but that's a good idea for people who do.
it is a neat idea. So
People with cats and...
I've got a link to the story if you're interested in knowing more. It's at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. Wisconsin man told police that he couldn't help himself when he took 7 bottles of spiked lemonade drink from a shelf at a Walmart and drank them in the liquor aisle. He had been shopping with his wife, who was not aware of what he was up to. Security video caught the man drinking the 12-ounce bottles over a 15-minute period.
Whoa.
Yeah, 7 bottles in 15 minutes. He then placed the empty bottles back on the shelf.
Oh,
He's like, I'm
man.
all done with these now. So 7 bottles of spiked lemonade drink in a 15-minute period. That's like 2 minutes per bottle. That's a pretty good chug.
That is fantastic.
I can only imagine other shoppers going past. And he's like, so where do you find a 7-pack? How did he do 7? I could see 6.
Or maybe open a 12-pack. I
It
don't
must
know.
have been. Yeah, 12-ounce bottles. I don't know how that works.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
hilarious.
he got in trouble for that. So kids, don't do that. It's a bad idea. And this is what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, a little screen. A dude, no, I don't even know if this really counts as big screen, little screen, but a guy was at the movies when he got arrested. That doesn't really count, does it? That's well,
that's the big screen.
Okay. A man stole a Maserati, and he decided to go to the movie theater for whatever reason. So a Georgia man accused of stealing a Maserati drove it to the showing of Blade Runner 2049. Police spotted the stolen vehicle parked outside the theater and then stuck around until he came out from the movie. So that is somehow, according to me, when I compiled my stories, that is big screen, little screen news. No, that really should have been moment of duh news. Maybe I give myself a moment of duh. But I do have this news. Thor Ragnarok, however you say it. How do you say it? The movie? Thor? The Thor movie? Ragnarok?
I don't know. I haven't been paying any attention.
Ragnarok. Anyway, had one of the year's best box office debuts with an estimated $121 million last week.
Huh.
And that was in North America alone. Brought in $427 million globally. So they did really well. I should probably learn how to say it because it's apparently good. There you go. This has been your big screen, little screen. I apologize that it was kind of sort of not all big screen, little screen, but it is brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international.
Call 800-719-5601 or learn more at radiosavings.com. Now your scoop of the day. Twitter announced last week that they are rolling out a 280-character limit for single tweets after testing the option among a handful of users last month. The new character limit applies to languages where cramming is an issue, like English. This won't apply to Chinese language, Japanese, or Korean languages because the density of those languages allows the writers to say more with fewer characters. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Twitter says the move is designed to remove the frustration of shoehorning thoughts into 140 characters, a limitation that regularly makes awkward grammar and creative spelling a big problem. So
I honestly don't even know how Twitter is still a thing.
Well, they're very popular, Heidi. There's a lot of people who use Twitter.
I just don't get it.
People are tweeting right now that Heidi's an idiot because she doesn't know why Twitter... I just got a tweet that says that. Okay, I didn't really, but I did just send a tweet that says that. No, I didn't really do that either. Hey, I understand it. Now, we're more Facebook people in our family. Are you on any other ones? Like
No.
Instagram? I'm on Instagram now.
I have an Instagram page,
Yeah.
but I don't do anything with it.
They just set it up for us. They're like, hey, congratulations, you're now on Instagram. Facebook owns it. So my
Or is
Facebook...
it Snapchat? Maybe I'm on Snapchat.
No, I think you're on Instagram. Facebook owns Instagram, so they just automatically made everybody that used Facebook, they're like, hey, now you're also on
No,
Instagram.
I think I'm on Snapchat.
I don't think you are.
I think I am. I just don't use
I
it.
think you're on something, but I don't think it's Instagram or Facebook or it's none of those things. Should we move on with something else?
Sure.
All right. Adele Barabo is the mom behind a blog called Real Mumma, M-U-M-M-A. She's known for her raw and honest view when it comes to the subject of parenthood. One of her most recent posts certainly backs that up. In the post, she appears in a selfie holding up a sign that simply reads, "Stop asking couples when they're having kids." Adele and her husband have 2 kids now, but she recalls the things that people would say when they were still without children. She also admits to being occasionally nasty when the question was asked. One day she responded by saying, "It's not that bleeping easy, you know." Adele goes off on people. Adele also goes off on people who offer words of comfort that she hadn't asked for, like, "You're not going to be young forever." So it does make sense. I know there are people who are trying to have children and they don't have children yet, and then they have people asking them all the time, "So when are you going to have kids?" And that would be kind of hurtful if you're struggling to have children, wouldn't it? Heidi's rolling her eyes. That doesn't translate well to the radio. Just so you know. Although I will do the commentary. Now she's laughing, snickering. Looks quite evil. So what are your thoughts on this, Heidi?
I think that people are way too freaking sensitive. If you're that worked up because somebody asks you a question, then you need to just wrap yourself in a freaking bubble and stay home. Do not leave the house because you clearly aren't equipped for it.
Okay, then.
Such a simple question. You're going to get so worked up that you start cussing at people. That's ridiculous.
If you hear it over and over and over, like
Who
our
cares?
son is 6'3", and people all the time would say to him, "So how tall are you?"
And if my son would ever cuss somebody out in public, I would whoop his in front of everybody. I don't care who was standing around.
You can say some of that on the radio. You okay over there? You want to take a knee? You want to just calm
saying,
down?
People should be taught manners, and people should be taught how to handle just everyday interactions with other human beings. This is ridiculous.
In other news, Sears is bringing back... I'm moving on now, whether you're ready or not. Sears is bringing back the Holiday Wish Book. Now, we just talked about Sears closing more stores, but they're bringing back the big catalog, the Wish Book. It's been online the whole time. Now, they launched in 1933. They scrapped the printed version in 2011, but they've always had this online version. Well, now they're saying, hey, we're going to start printing limited edition books in 2017. Why? I used to go through that when I was a kid.
I would love to start getting the Wish Book again.
I loved it too, but I'm thinking they have an online version. Just look at it online.
It's not the same. You can't circle stuff and write next to stuff.
I
would love for my kids to have the experience that I had with the Wish Book.
Here's the issue that I have. They just closed a bunch of locations. They're closing more. Would you rather have people lose their jobs so you can get a stupid book you're not going to even look at? Or would you rather say, hey, keep the stores and I'll look at it online?
I want the book.
I want to just look at it online. We once agree, do not agree. Or once again, do not agree. Shocker.
Those stores are closing anyway.
All right.
Might as well get the book back.
This has been your very bizarre scoop of the day.
John and Heidi.
Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Call the Student Loan Helpline now.
Call 855-380-FAST or learn more at radiosavings.com.
This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. We've got a special guest joining us today, Beverly Gray. She's got a new book called Seduced by Mrs. Robinson, How the Graduate Became the Touchstone of a Generation. And we've got Beverly on the line right now. How are you doing, Beverly?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Well, we appreciate taking the time to visit with us. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I remember watching the movie, and it was a great movie, The Graduate. And in there was a lady named Mrs. Robinson. There's even a song about Mrs. Robinson. And you're saying that kind of shaped future generations, didn't it?
It sure did. The Graduate was supposed to be a small, quirky, romantic comedy, which of course it is, a sexy little movie. But what was interesting is how it came out at exactly the right time. It's the sort of thing you can't plan for, but it captured the imagination of American youth at a time when young people coming out of college didn't know what they were doing, didn't know where they were going, but a lot of big things loomed, like the Vietnam War, like the fact that they were realizing that their parents' world wasn't exactly what they had bargained for. So they gravitated toward The Graduate as a film that showed their restlessness and their disenchantment, and it was a monster hit.
And for the generation that's growing up today that maybe has not seen this, I encourage them to, first of all, see the movie because it was a phenomenal movie. But let's explain to them what The Graduate movie was so they know what we're talking about.
Okay. It's a movie about a very nice, very young, well-schooled young man, comes home from college with lots of honors, everybody oohs and ahs over him, and thinks that they know what's best for him and his future. Resisting his parents, resisting all the sage advice about how to go into plastics and make a fortune. He knows he wants his future to be somehow different, but he doesn't know how different it's going to become when he's lured into an affair with his parents' close friend, a woman of parental age, has a long and sexy affair with her, but then finds himself in love with her daughter. So things happen in this movie.
And when this movie came out, I don't think anyone had ever used the term cougar before, at least not in the context that we use it today. So in a sense, Mrs. Robinson may have been the first cougar, right?
She may have been. That term, as you say, wasn't around then, but there are certainly references back to her. And calling someone a Mrs. Robinson, in fact, I've heard that it's come into American speech, so somebody might say, I think I'd like to Mrs. Robinson him, or et cetera. So she's becoming a verb.
Well, there you go. Well, again, the book is called Seduced by Mrs. Robinson, and I guess the longer title is How the Graduate Became the Touchstone of a Generation. So with people growing up and having this for the first time, because there wasn't really a movie like this before that. So when this movie came out and kind of broke through some barriers, it changed the opinion of many people, and it kind of changed a generation.
That's right, and not only in sexual terms. I think the nice boy revolting against his parents' generation, to me, is somewhat new. There had been youth rebellion movies before, and they were usually about young men who would join motorcycle gangs and do things like this. But this was that nice, well-bred, very well-educated, affluent kid who wanted to go his own way. But the movie changed Hollywood as well, and that's important too. The casting of Dustin Hoffman, for one thing, was regarded really as kind of revolutionary, because in most romantic comedies of the era, when you thought of a young man falling in love, you thought of somebody who was tall and blonde and muscly, and probably you thought of a dreamboat Robert Redford type of guy. In fact, Robert Redford was up for the part of Benjamin Braddock and lost it to Dustin Hoffman, who was short, dark, undeniably ethnic. And some of the people in Hollywood, when the movie first came out, would come up to the producer and come up to director Mike Nichols and say, that was a great movie. It's really too bad you miscast the leading role. They didn't see it. They didn't see Dustin Hoffman, but a generation of young people did see him as one of theirs. They fell in love with this unconventional-looking guy, and from that time onward, suddenly Hollywood became a lot bolder about casting people who were not dreamboats, who were a little more ethnic, who were a little different, and there followed a wave of other young actors, a lot of Jewish actors like Elliot Gould, like Richard Benjamin, like Richard Dreyfuss in The Goodbye Girl, and on, plus other people from other ethnicities like an Al Pacino or a Robert De Niro. So a new possibility came around in terms of who your leading men were going to be.
And I think it's fun. You just mentioned Richard Dreyfuss. It's fun to know that he was in The Graduate, even though it was an uncredited role. He had one line, didn't he?
Yes, his line was, shall I call the cops? I'll call the cops. That was his line.
And he's done okay with that as a springboard for his career, hasn't he?
Yes, indeed. Winning an Oscar in the 1970s for a romantic comedy in which he played the non-dreamboat leading man of The Goodbye Girl.
Well, Beverly, we appreciate you taking some time to visit with us today. I wish you the very best on the book. I think you're going to do quite well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I think, particularly with the holidays coming up, Seduced by Mrs. Robinson is a wonderful, offbeat kind of present and will bring back a lot of happy memories to a lot of people.
Well, Beverly, thank you again. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Again, Beverly Gray. The book is called Seduced by Mrs. Robinson, How the Graduate Became a Touchstone of a Generation. It's available right now, and we're going to make it easy to find. We'll put a link at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free discreet shipping.
Call 800-296-1289 or learn more at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The sack mark was invented by Paul Sack to emphasize a sarcastic phrase, sentence, or message.
What's a sack mark?
I don't know. The sack mark? The sack mark. I don't know. The Sark mark. S-A-R-K-M-A-R-K. Sark mark.
Okay. I
Anyway.
still don't know what that is.
I don't know either. I have to see if I can Google that and figure it out. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The light emitted by 200,000 galaxies makes our universe a shade of beige. Scientists call the color cosmic latte.
Okay.
So we're not pitch black. We're a shade of beige.
Okay.
All right. I'm confused. I'm still stuck on the Sark mark thing. I'm going to have to Google that now, and I'll throw a link so everybody knows what it is. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you struggling with addiction or alcohol problems? If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help, and your insurance may offer coverage.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares. Call 800-438-0380. 800-438-0380.
Now, your weird word of the day. First, I got to say a Sark mark. I've never seen it before. I've got a link to it on our Facebook page so you can see what it looks like. It kind of looks like an @ sign, but like just a period instead of the A. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never heard of a Sark
I don't
mark,
know.
so I don't know.
I've never used it, so it clearly isn't that useful.
Well, just like our word today, qualm. I've actually heard this word.
I have heard this word.
Qualm. Qualm is a noun, a sudden fear or misgiving, a feeling of doubt or hesitation in a matter of conscience. You ready for the sentence?
Sure.
All right. Some otherwise honest students have no qualms about plagiarizing research texts for papers.
No qualms about it.
Qualm. Qualm is a word I've used before, and I'll probably use it again. So this word of the day is not as useless as most of them. So thank you so much to the word of the day people for giving us at least one word we can actually use.
John and Heidi.
Boy. IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guarantee. You may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe.
See if you qualify. 800-649-0142. Learn more at radiosavings.com. Now, some weird news on this Monday. Wacky but true story, Heidi. I love it when they say that right in the headline. Japanese police unmask 74-year-old ninja burglar.
What?
The police finally nabbed a nimble ninja thief who dressed in black and scrambled over walls to commit scores of break-ins over an 8-year career. He's 74. He was jumping over walls.
Wow, good
they
for
were
him.
astonished to find the ninja burglar is 74. The thief made a mistake when part of his disguise slipped off and his identity was revealed on camera. He was 74. Did I mention this?
You did.
And he was so
times.
nimble, he was leaping over walls. I am not 74, and I can't leap over walls. I can't even leap over, like, our dog gate. I have to move that to get through. So this dude's doing something right.
You have a hard time with curbs.
I do. I'm struggling. I'm like, I hurt my back. I don't know what I did. I, like, pulled a muscle. I seriously, like, stepping up onto the rug was a struggle the other day. So pretty sure this ninja burglar's got me whooped. Now your moment of duh. Massachusetts couple said their dog helped stop an intruder who broke into their house. 91-year-old Patricia Mulkin said she knew something was wrong when Pepper, that's her dog, woke up and started barking. Mulkin said she grabbed a flashlight to look around, thinking Pepper might have saw a raccoon. As Mulkin walked into the dining room, she found a man standing there. Mulkin's husband said the intruder was probably surprised to see his wife. Here's his quote. My wife at 91 years old gets out of bed and she's stark naked. And there's this young guy in his 20s looking at a 91-year-old naked woman. That'd be enough to make him faint. This is his quote. It's a shock. Intruder said, sorry, ma'am. to Ms. Mulkin, immediately left her house. Her husband then called the police. They found the intruder nearby. He was washing his eyes out. No, he was. They did find him nearby, and he was arrested. But can you imagine that? This intruder walks in, and he clearly broke into the wrong house. I just love the quote that man had for his wife. It's quite a sight. This has been your moment of duh.
John and Heidi.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international.
Call 800-719-5601 or learn more at radiosavings.com. Coming up here in a moment, we've got some good news to get to. Before we get to the good news, I just want to say a big thank you to my beautiful bride for sharing so much good news with me lately. You've done a good job.
Thank you.
I mean, I was struggling for a while there to look for good news, and it's kind of disheartening when you go online and find so many negative stories, and you can barely ever find a good news story. But thank you for helping me find some good news.
You're welcome.
Because usually when Heidi shares things on Facebook, it's not good news.
It's always good.
Well, it's usually funny. Most of the time offensive, but I don't know if it's ever been good. So it's cool that you're actually going out of your way to find good news for me. So thank you.
No, I'm not going out of my way. It shows up in my newsfeed. I
well,
usually
here
just skip right over it.
Here I thought you were working hard on this, so I take back all of what I just said. No, I also want to say thank you to the many listeners that have sent over some fun stories that we've added in here as well. So if you ever want to do that, Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. That's where we have all that stuff. This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Now we wrap things up around here with some good news. And here's the headline. Man eating at a restaurant sees hungry boy staring. He invites him to eat, but is left stunned at the bill. He sat down and ordered a meal at a restaurant in India when something caught his eye. He couldn't help but notice a little boy peeking through the window and staring at this delicious meal that was being served. The boy's eyes were wide and fixated on each and every plate that passed by. He was obviously hungry, so he invited the boy and his sister to come and dine with him. That's really nice.
Isn't that sweet?
So they come inside. So he ordered a couple more of the same meal that he had for himself, and the boy and his sister had a chance to eat. As they waited for the meals to arrive, the boy was beside himself with anticipation. The waiter finally delivered the food. The little boy could hardly contain himself. But as he reached for the food to take his first bite, his little sister grabbed his hand and said, "Hey, wait, you need to go wash your hands first." That was really cool, too. So the two went and washed their hands. Well, the thing that was really neat is when the bill came out, it's in a language that I can't read, but thank goodness they translated it for us here. Do you know what it said, Heidi?
I do.
What did it say?
Go ahead and read it.
Well, I'm going to scroll down to the part that's here. It says, there was no amount due. The message translated in English says, "We don't have a machine that can bill humanity."
Isn't that fantastic? I love that.
May good happen to you. That, my friend, is how karma works. That's what it was.
I love that.
So they said, "Hey, you did something nice, so we're going to take care of your meal, too." That was really nice.
I know. It's such a happy, wonderful story.
And Heidi sent that to me because she does have a heart.
I do, sometimes.
Under that candy coating on the outside that's filled with all of those other things, there's this soft, gooey little heart in the middle. So, all right. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.